Hello, this is Connie Steele, and this is Estefania from Ecuador, and we have a few interesting questions to ask you.
Thank you.
So I'm very excited to talk to you today. So first question, what was your motivation to come to the U.S. and join this group that you're with, the Project Arizona?
Well, I think that U.S. is a very well-known country for freedoms. Like, you are probably the country that has more influence also in whole America, but in the world, about freedom of speech, freedom of belief, freedom of religion, freedom of identity. And I think that's very important. I also believe that right now all the world has been crushed, to call it like that, or very influenced by the lack of freedom of politics, of economy, of individualism. Like, you're always having this pressure from a government or an entity that wants to regulate your freedom and don't let you exercise. And I think America is the best way to learn from the core.
Well, hopefully they don't change that, because we're praying that our next election is positive and that we don't get problems with that. So I would like to ask you, for example, what was your best experience that you might want to share with your fellow students when you go back to Ecuador?
Well, I think that talking about freedom, I love the wealth that you can produce here. Even though you're a young person, even though you're older, just there's not like underestimation for everyone. Like, if you want it, you can get it. Just work for it. And you're fine. Like, you'll make it eventually. Of course, it doesn't happen from one night to the other, but you'll get there. And I have been very surprised about like how people can earn their money. They're willing to work, even though they're very old or they're very young. I am very surprised about the way you're just willing to do it by yourself, which is very important, because you know at the end, like, your first relationship is with yourself.
Yes, that's very true. And I think you had some questions that you really love to. Okay, what would you like to tell them, your friends and your family, about your experiences, and then also about with socialism or the government control? Like, America has less of that right now. And
well, we're having, at least Ecuador has a very big government that is trying to get into your mind in everything that they can. They try to regulate. We have taxes. We have the dollar as our local currency. And for
U.S. dollar?
Yeah, we have the U.S. dollar since the year 2000.
Oh, wow.
And that's very good, because actually that has been limited the problems, or actually the power of the government, because as they don't produce currency, they cannot print and get us into an inflation as Venezuela. But
so it's more stabilizing.
Yeah, it's more stable.
Okay.
But we also don't produce dollars, so there's a lot of measures to keep the dollars inside. So, for example, when I travel here, they ask me, are you carrying like physical dollars? Like, you cannot take out more than $1,000 from Ecuador.
And how long was it supposed to last you here in Arizona?
I don't know, actually. That's because it's not like very logical, right?
No, I mean,
as you produce your money, you can spend it as you can, and you're responsible of it, right?
Right.
But yeah, that's the new measure of the government, that you cannot take out more than $1,000 from Ecuador.
Wow, that's interesting. I didn't know that. And then, are you concerned about your fellow American students that you've come across, about them flirting with the idea of socialism and thinking that they would like to have free education, that it's a basic right? Do you see our news? Do you see what our campaigning is about?
I think socialism knows how to sell the speech, because you actually want to believe that everyone is equal and everyone will like be wealthy and just live as the best thing that can happen in your life. But the thing is that we can write everything in paper, and it doesn't work when you try to practice that.
Well, in America, we are all equal. We're just not necessarily economically equal. But I believe if you work hard enough, that's you can get that. Yes.
Yeah, but the thing is that they're not willing to work.
Yes.
And if that works like that, then why should the persons in the top of the hierarchy pyramid will be earning more? Because have you seen the leaders of socialism? They're very wealthy.
Oh, yes.
And the people are very poor in the streets.
Yes, that's a good point.
Yeah, because they sell as an equal status for everyone, but it's not like that. It doesn't work like that. Then if it's equal, then why are you giving me orders? Why are you taking my money because it's equal? Then I should have the same house that you have, as
And
the
the same
as the
security.
as the leaders and the same security. And if you're having the most expensive stick, then I should have it too. But it doesn't work like that.
No.
Only the leaders get richer, and they sell this as an equal stuff. And you have to be like equal, for example, in front of the law. Of course, we're equal. We're all humans, and we have the same rights.
Yes.
But your freedoms are being always pushed down by this kind of regimes because they want to control you. They want to control your wealthy. They want to control your job, and they are always taxing you for everything. You have taxes for everything.
We have
If
taxes
you're
on
rich-
taxes.
Yeah, exactly.
We have taxes on taxes. Look at your phone bill.
Exactly. You have taxes of choosing, I don't know, a restaurant.
Yes.
You have taxes for your home, for your loans. You have taxes for most everything. And where are the taxes going for? They're
Yes.
going for the government and for the
Taxes on your
leaders.
income, taxes on your savings, taxes on your investments, and then taxes
Exactly.
when you die.
Yeah, yeah. They even tax you for stop breathing.
Yes.
Like, dude, you're just giving more people oxygen,
Yes.
and
So-
you're even taxed for that.
So my question, what do you think about some of our candidates we have running in America for president that are saying that they think the death tax should be 90 to 100%? Would you like to be the daughter of a parent who dies and gets taxed at 90 to 100% and you have no inheritance?
No.
Would
of
that be
course
fair?
no. I don't think it's fair.
No.
I think that everyone, and that's the amazing thing about the U.S., that you can make your own road, and it's up to you. Like if you wanna work hard and buy a very big house or whatever you wanna do with your income, it's up to you because you work for it and because you actually sweat for it or
Yes.
tear for it, because sometimes it demands
Yes.
tears to get
Oh, I
what you
know.
want.
Yes.
But when someone just take it as if there's yours, like it's not fair. And eventually of course there's people with different situations, probably bad decisions. We're humans, we all make mistakes. And to get taxed even from a painful situation, that's not even human. Like that's very cruel.
No, it happens in a lot of countries where children can't get any inheritance, and then when their parents are old, they're also getting old, so they're also unable to work.
Yeah.
I'm gonna die someday. I don't want to, but of course I would like to leave everything to my children. But certain politicians get in power, they may take that away, and then
And that was your job. That was your
and I didn't have
work.
to save the money, right? You can spend it, but when I spend it, I'm creating jobs. That's how I feel. And is that how libertarians feel as well?
I think that's
When
the
you have
important
money?
thing is you can spend because you're giving jobs.
Right.
You're giving people reasons to just work harder or to produce something or to give a service or because that's the way it works.
Well,
That's
so you
a
believe in-
spontaneous order.
So you do believe in trickle-down economics,
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
Well, that's-
And we all, I think we're all part of it. And it's important for us to be responsible of knowing that we can do a lot. Just giving, I don't know, buying bread. Or
Yes, that's a job.
Exactly.
Somebody had to make the bread.
exactly, and we're all kind of connected because of that. The spontaneous order of everyone producing something to get something because it's a win-win. I win the bread, you win the money.
Well, you know, in some countries, do you feel like in Ecuador that the lower class people, or I shouldn't really say it that way, I mean the people that are poor, do they actually hate the wealthy? Because I look at this, the wealthy create jobs. Whether you like them or not, they still do create jobs.
Wealthy
Do you feel
creates
that way
jobs.
in Ecuador, most of the people?
I think that there are like two cases. The first case is the indigenous people. We're an indigenous country, so and they live into Commonwealth. They call it like that. So they live in kind of a village and they share most of what they produce, and it's fine. It's up to them because it's a kind of trade too.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem comes when people believe that everything should be free and they demand for the free stuff. That's actually the only thing that it's concerning. And of course that there's people that of course are demanding free education and free healthcare. But when you get it, first of all, it's not free. Somebody is paying with taxes for it. But the problem is that you cannot demand. like always a private school will be a kind of better. And Ecuador has, for example, very cheap private schools. You can get into a private school for $50.
Wow, that's maybe
Yeah.
my children should have gone there.
It's not the best private school, but you can demand. And if you don't like something, you can ask the teacher, like, you know what? I don't think that you're teaching my kids in the right way. But if it's public, then you should go for a whole bureaucratic procedure to make your concern go through the educational ministry or educational district where your school is at.
Do you feel in the educational system in Ecuador that the teachers and the administration are trying to kind of change the children's minds about certain things, or trying to maybe brainwash them, to say it lightly, or say it harshly, I should say?
I think brainwash. Well, yeah, you have a lot of ways to influence people, and to tell people happy stories about someone that, I don't know, just got a lot of money, or just believes that everyone should be the same. They don't have to work harder because at the end of the day you will get the same. I think that that's a very powerful kind of brainwash, but actually not powerful but harmful, because you're underestimating people, and you're probably giving the kids or glass ceilings kids' dreams. Because even though they come from probably not the wealthiest family, but if they're willing to work hard, they can make it. Eventually, they will make it. But if you just believe that, okay, now you're poor and you'll never get over it, just like stop trying, just enjoy the free stuff, because that's mostly the kind of speech that you can get from.
Well, America was a country like that. It was built on all different immigrants from all over the world, different languages, different cultures, and a lot of them didn't have any skills. But then they worked on what they knew how to do best, and that's what made this country the American dream. And does it bother you to see that some people are forgetting that American dream and then they're taking it down? Because I feel like if America goes down, then also it could influence other countries. If we go down, everyone else can go down too.
Yeah, South America at least we look up to United States a lot in a lot of stuff. But we also have other influences, the bad ones, let's call them like that, that are trying to get into a core. But you're closer to most of South American nations, so we're trying to always follow your steps, and you're like providing always guidelines for probably the whole world in a lot of policies and a lot of measures to be taken, in a lot of decisions too. So I consider that it's very dangerous, and I believe that these kind of leaders, they actually don't know how socialism works. And you know, the worst thing is that they actually believe it. Like, yes. In the core, they do believe the speech, but it's very easy to read a recipe and okay, it sounds nice, but then try to make it. It doesn't work. It's
like you say, I can make this food, I have the recipe, but I don't have the ingredients.
Exactly.
So how are you going to make the meal?
Exactly. True. It's concerning because it doesn't work. Every country that has experimented or tried to put this, they have failed eventually. The Republic Socialist, the Soviet Union failed, Poland failed, Ukraine failed, Congo. Most of the South African countries are poor because at some point they tried to put a socialism regime there, and it didn't work.
And they have a lot of dictators too, so that's even worse.
But yeah, it's even worse. But when you try to put these policies into the society, you try to make one step forward. But what you're actually doing is taking 10 steps back in the business, in the wealthy creation. You're just like messing it.
And now my last question, do you have any messages that you would like to give? If you can just give one message to like American students, or even students from your country, what would it be that you've learned from your
I think that you should learn about freedom, but about freedom of speech, freedom of belief, freedom of being wealthy and work whatever you want to, and to believe in yourself and in what you want to get, to achieve for yourself in your goals. Work for them. And if it demands like an actual work, and maybe if you're smart enough to make just profits of investing or things that actually don't demand 24
Physical.
exactly physical,
Physical
work,
work. Yes, it's
then
okay to
you'll
use
be
your
able
brain.
to make it. You'll be
Yes.
able to make it. Just sharpen your skills, learn, and learn about everything, because this kind of influential ideas, they will not die from one day to the other. So you have to have the whole picture and analyze it, to
Yes.
try to believe in what will be better for you and what has worked, because you have also to at least acknowledge the story, because families, countries, states that doesn't know the history of stuff all over the world, they're willing to repeat it and to repeat the same mistakes.
Do you feel that we're not getting enough news or enough information that what's going on in other countries in the world?
I think that probably you're getting, but you're not into understanding how it happens. And it's a whole process behind poverty in South America, in Venezuela, in Cuba. There's years of bad policies, and you're in the right way to stop it.
And it just finally creeps up and surprise,
Exactly.
your
It
country's a
blows
mess.
eventually. It blows eventually. You can try to put makeup and cover it, but it blows eventually. It doesn't work.
Yes. Well, wow, it was so great to learn all these interesting things from you, and it's so encouraging to know that such young people from your group really understand about libertarianism and freedom, and trying to get rid of socialist ideas and be dependent on yourself, because who can you depend on more than anybody but yourself?
Yeah,
Really,
exactly.
that's
And be
what it's all
responsible.
about. Yes,
That's very important.
that's right. And then you can be charitable.
Exactly.
Right. Oh, awesome. This is such a great program. I really love this. And this is Connie Steele once again. This was our breaking news for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope maybe you learned something from it. I love all these students. I wish I could adopt all of them. They're just wonderful. And have a nice day.